Hey everyone, and welcome back to Inland Empire Coaches Talk. Today we actually have a real treat. We have Rich Padilla with us. He's worked multiple College World Series. He's an evaluator for the Big West, Mountain West, WCC, has been for the Pac-12 as well. Also is a coordinator of umpires for 2 JC conferences. And even more importantly, he works with the Wounded Warrior Project, and we're going to get into that a little bit. Welcome, Rich.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
So, Rich, tell the viewers at home a little bit about yourself, your background, specifically in sports.
Well, I started umpiring back in '78, just as to help Little League. Found that I liked it, continued to search it out, a little high school, some JC. Next thing I knew, I'm doing some D3, D2, and some D1. Got to do a little independent ball. And 37 years later, here I am.
So over those 37 years, you have 3 or 4 World Series total?
I have 3. 2 D2s and 1 NAIA.
Okay. And you are a coordinator for 2 junior college conferences out here.
I am, the South Coast Conference and the Inland Empire Athletic Conference.
Mm-hmm. So talk to me a little bit about AD, coaches, umpires, the relationship and the way that you walk that tightrope.
I am the voice of the umpire, and I try to keep a bridge between coaches and umpires. I solicit the coaches' help. I want to hear what they have to say. I feel that if they can feel like they're open, they can talk to me, then they won't be as hard on the umpire in the field. It's all competitive, and I get it. But if they can hold off a little bit and call me rather than yelling at the umpire, they know that they're going to have somebody that'll listen to them, know what they're talking about, and either do something or not.
Okay. So you also evaluate.
Yes.
For Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA. What do you look for in umpires? Because obviously we hear fans and parents all the time saying, go back to Little League, anything under the sun at an umpire.
I look for basically 4 things that I looked for in myself when I was umpiring. First, be in position. Is the umpire out there? Is he in position? Is he working to get the best look possible? 2, is he decisive? One of the things that showed me decisiveness, if he's in position, then he sees the play, he knows it, and his reaction is very decisive when he sees it. Third thing, does he know the rules? That's very important. And the 4th thing is, and more now these days, is how's he handle the situations? That's the 4 things I look for. I have an umpire that is in position and is decisive. His mechanics are going to be crisp and sharp. That is going to rate a 4 or a 5 for me, as opposed to someone who is not in position, isn't quite as decisive, and now you're looking at 3s and 2s.
Okay. So you have umpires that obviously work at the Little League, travel ball, high school level that want to get into your conferences in junior college. So how would they go about working their way through the system, getting in contact with you, or getting into that next level?
I'm in the market constantly looking for umpires. With 2 JC conferences, I need the bodies. And I look for basically, how's he look? Does he look like he's been there? Does he look like he can handle it? How's he handle criticism? Is he somebody that's going to tell me how to do my job? Or is he going to somebody that's going to listen and grow and learn? I look at my job as a coordinator as to help guys get better and move up I look for guys that are wanting to get better and move up. And if they're older and their moving up is not in their plan, I look for somebody that can help the younger guys move up.
Nice. So when we're talking about coaches specifically, what words of advice would you have for coaches when it comes to handling umpires? Especially like we're hopefully going to have a travel ball fall and possibly summer, depending on the state. What words of advice would you give that or the friends and family that are in the stands when they're watching a game?
I tell coaches and players that ask me, what is the best way to approach an umpire? And I simply tell them, approach them as you would like to be approached. If you come at somebody yelling and screaming, you're probably not going to get listened to. If you approach somebody in a manner that is going to allow somebody to hear, then more than likely you're going to get an answer. I use anger seriously diminishes one's ability to persuade.
Fair enough. And what about for the fans? And when you're sitting in the stands, you hear everything, obviously. So what words of advice would you give to the fans when they see a call that possibly could go against them, they don't understand?
Fans are something that I basically stay away from. They've paid their money and they have the right to say and act as they will. As long as they're not interfering with the game, I stay away from them. When I'm in the stands observing, I look to stay away from them. The last thing I want them to do is be talking to me, asking me questions while I should be observing. So fans, be fans. I have no advice for a fan except to enjoy the game.
Okay. So now we're going to get into a little bit more of the meats and bones of why you're here. Talk to us a little bit about the Wounded Warrior Project and how you guys have transitioned it from what most people know as the Wounded Warrior Project.
Well, we are different from the Wounded Warrior Project. We are the Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy, and we are a separate entity. The academy was created in 2014, by three gentlemen, Dan Weichel, Greg Wilson, and Jimmy Craig. And it was primarily brought to light to give a wounded, injured, or wounded vet an avenue of camaraderie. Once he is separated from the service, he loses that dear friend, that person that understands what he's gone through. Using baseball as the avenue, umpiring is much like the service. There's a uniform, there's a code of conduct, there's a rule book, and the camaraderie is much the same. And so if we could marry those two together, the vet and baseball, it has worked. We have, I got to say, about 80 to 90 umpires that we have gone through our camp. I'm going to say about 15% has gone on to do some high school and youth ball. We've had 3 that have gone to the pro camp, which I'm really proud of. And of those 15%, probably 7 or 8 have gone on to do some lower level college ball. So I'm very proud of that. And we just don't train them and leave them because we only have them for 10 days. Mm-hmm. But we continue to stay in touch with them and help them out in every way possible.
Now, is this specific to one branch of the service, or is this for any vet, or how does that work?
When we first started, it was primarily for the Marine Corps. The 3 gentlemen that I named were Marines. Excuse me. And then the Semper Fi Fund, which is one of our main supporters, allowed us to open up to every branch of the service. And I'm proud to say that over the last 2 years, we've had a representative from every branch of the service, including the Coast Guard.
Now, is this something that you guys can expand again to, say, law enforcement or anyone that's a frontline exposure when it comes to injuries? Or is it specifically?
PTSD is rampant, first responders, fire, police, certainly. Even now in the medical field, we haven't addressed that, but it's not something that we would discount.
Okay. So how can the folks at home help with the Wounded Warriors?
We have a website. Invite you to go into the website, woundedwarriorumpireacademy.org. It'll tell you a lot about our history, who's running the show, what we do, how we do it. It's 100% of the donations go back into the academy. We are graced with wonderful donations. Umpire being one, I have to wave their flag. They outfit every one of our umpires with brand new umpire equipment completely. That's 2 pairs of shoes, New Balance shoes, slacks, shin guards, chest protector, West vest, Wilson masks, hat, slacks, tailored. They pay nothing when they come to us.
Nice. Is there any way that the folks at home can give? Is there a donation base on that, or is that something that they have to go through you guys?
You can just go through the website. There's a donation section. We've been fortunate. The Semper Fi Fund has paid for the travel and lodging, not just for the Wounded Warrior, but also for companions, whether it's a dog, whether it's a spouse. It's complete.
So when do you guys usually run the camp? Where is it located?
Our camp started in Denver, Colorado. It's a 10-day camp. It's now in North Carolina, in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we found that it's closer to military-minded people. There's more bases there, more Wounded Warrior, and it just was a little more conducive. The idea is to take it on the road, and every couple of years be in a different part of the country. And allow people that may not be able to travel to get to us, maybe we can go to them.
Now, you mentioned the 3 individual founders, and then talk about what your role is with the project.
I'm basically the vice president, and what I do is make sure the president doesn't get too crazy. Greg Wilson, and he's phenomenal. I help with the training, setting up the classes, the drills, and stay with the Wounded Warriors and try to get inside with them. Let them know that the door is open. Even after they're gone, they've graduated, that they have my number, my email, and I'm fortunate enough to get calls from many of them. I just love it when they call me and ask me baseball questions. This year in high school, they brought the designated hitter in as a two-party guy, pitcher, designated hitter, and a lot of them had questions on that, and I was tickled when they called me.
Lovely. So, speaking about the culture and how you want to be very open door policy, inclusive, what is the culture? Because obviously, for those of you that haven't been to umpire school, there can be a lot of yelling. a lot of screaming, same thing in the military. What is the culture, the atmosphere that you guys try to instill at the camp?
Very mild mannered, very easygoing. Not a lot of yelling and screaming. A lot of helping them see things in a different light, maybe angle over distance. If their disability is one that is not going to allow them to get to a particular area or to squat in a particular way, let's see what we can do to help and make that better. We've had two wounded warriors with amputations, and many with hips, and some with arms. And so it's what can we do to tweak it a little bit to where they can still get in a position where they can see the play, call it, and make the mechanic without a lot of difficulty.
So what would you say is the greatest hurdle that you guys run into with the camp?
Probably having people understand, though the people that have accepted us are wonderful, and they say this is our vets and it's awesome, but you do still have people that just don't understand, and it's a competitive atmosphere, and you'll have many of them say, we want real umpires, not these guys, we pay a lot of money. And basically I'm in the crowd and watching for that and listening for that. And unfortunately, I've had to have a couple of run-ins with some family members that simply say, you're right, you did spend a lot of money. But these vets out here have paid also, but they've paid with their youth. Some of them get it, some of them don't. And that's what we do. Mm-hmm. We do, and it's heartwarming to see the kids. We don't mostly do the youth ball. Mm-hmm. The kids, either before the game or after the game, each and every one of them come up to the vet and say thank you, shake their hand, move over to the next vet and say thank you. That is one of the most heartwarming things we do.
So, obviously you've been in baseball for decades, for a very long time. Would you say this is the thing that gives you the most fulfillment in your baseball career?
Absolutely. Some of my best friends I got from baseball, umpiring. And I'm being able to introduce this form of camaraderie to warriors who understand camaraderie very well. And this is another avenue. It is one of the most heartwarming things I do, absolutely.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, Rich, I want to thank you for coming out today and talking to the fine folks at home. So just as a reminder, this we are doing every single week, just talking to different people in sports. Next week we are going to have 2 athletic directors as well as a sports information director and a football coach. We are practicing social distancing here. As you can see, we have our masks from when we walked in. Yeah. We have Purell. If we put out our arms, we're both 6 feet apart. So if anybody wants to come down, if anybody wants to come down and just talk sports, I know that BSN Sports is also putting on a lot of free clinics at home, so check those out at bsnsports.com/clinics. Past that, have a good day. Be safe. Thank you.